Have you ever wondered how state funding actually makes its way into Beaumont's classrooms? Well, in this explainer, we're going to pull back the curtain on school funding and show you exactly how your voice plays a huge role in shaping our students' success.
You know, everything we do really starts right here, with our shared mission. This isn't just some plaque on a wall. It's the foundation for every single decision we make. It puts our students, their safety, and their success right at the center of our work.
So, over the next few minutes, we'll walk through how that mission becomes a real plan. We'll touch on the plan itself, where the money comes from, how your feedback shapes our goals, where those dollars go, how we check our progress, and maybe most importantly, your essential role in all of it.
All right, so how do we turn that big mission into a concrete plan for our schools? Well, it all starts with understanding the why behind our financial decisions. And there's a special plan that helps us translate state funding into our unique vision for Beaumont students.
That plan is called the Local Control and Accountability Plan, or LCAP for short. And yeah, it's a state requirement, but for us, it's so much more. Think of it as our 3-year roadmap, a public commitment that connects every single state dollar directly to the goals we set together as a community.
Okay, so we've got the plan, the LCAP, but where does the money for that plan actually come from? It all starts with how California funds its schools, through a system designed to give communities like ours more say. It's called the Local Control Funding Formula, or LCFF.
The most important words here are local control. See, before this system, the state had all these different funding pots with really strict rules, but the LCFF gives our community the flexibility to decide how to best use that money to meet the unique needs of our students, right here in Beaumont.
Let's break that down. Imagine you're managing a big family budget. First, you've got the base grant. This is the core funding every single student gets for their basic education. You know, keeping the lights on and having amazing teachers. Then there's a supplemental grant, which adds an extra 20% for each high-need student to give them targeted support. And finally, you have the concentration grant, which gives districts like ours with a lot of these students even more resources to make sure they can thrive.
So, who are these high-need students? Well, the state defines them as English learners, students from low-income families, and foster youth. And here in Beaumont, this group makes up nearly 69% of our student population. That's a huge number, and it's exactly why these extra funds are so vital for us.
Now that we get where the money comes from, let's talk about the really cool part. How all of that funding gets shaped into a plan that actually reflects what our parents, teachers, and the whole community wants for our kids.
Our LCAP isn't created behind closed doors. Not at all. It's built on a solid foundation of community feedback. We're constantly listening through our parent advisory committees, at school site council meetings, in community forums, through district-wide surveys, and even by talking directly with students and staff.
So you might be wondering, okay, that's nice, but does my feedback actually make a difference? Does my comment on a survey really change how money gets spent? And the answer is a resounding yes, absolutely.
Let me give you a perfect example. We've heard it loud and clear, year after year, from parents, students, and staff. You've told us about the critical need for more mental health services and social-emotional support for our students.
And this is where it all clicks into place. We can literally draw a straight line from that feedback, from your voice, right into our district's budget. This slide says it all. Because you identified that need, the district created a specific action in the LCAP. And look at that number. The district dedicated over $1.7 million for the upcoming school year to provide things like behavioral health therapist and support specialist. Your voice became funded action. It's that direct.
Of course, a plan is only as good as its results, right? It's not enough to just spend the money. We have to make sure it's actually making a difference for our kids, and that's where accountability comes in.
And we are seeing that difference. For instance, by funding programs aimed at keeping kids in school, programs that came right out of our LCAP, we saw a 10.2% decline in chronic absenteeism last year. That means more students are in the classroom learning every single day.
And honestly, this is what it's all about. We are so incredibly proud to report a high school graduation rate of 94.5%. This represents the hard work of our students, the incredible dedication of our staff, and the amazing support from all of you, our families.
This whole thing, from the funding to the planning to the amazing results, it's a cycle. And for it to keep working and moving forward, it really, truly depends on your continued partnership.
So if there's one thing to take away, it's this. The LCAP isn't some dusty report that just sits on a shelf. It's a living, breathing plan that we review and update every single year. And it's your ongoing feedback that keeps it focused on what our students really need to succeed.
And there are so many ways you can get involved. You could join your school's site council, attend a district advisory meeting, keep an eye out for our surveys, or even just share your thoughts with your principal. Every single voice adds value to the conversation.
We really hope this helped clear things up about how our funding and planning works to support our students. At the end of the day, their success is a responsibility we all share. So we'll leave you with one final question to think about. How will you join us on this journey?
Watch it flow, teaching hearts, watch them grow.